I'm back. Let me adjust the mic here. Sorry. Oh, it's gonna make a noise. It'll move the arm. Okay, sorry about the extended RB. Why is that like that? It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, welcome to the, not welcome to the stream. Welcome to another Raging Loop section of the stream. I'm pretty sure I ended on a cliffhanger, yeah? And I was like, oh, it's probably annoying that I ended on a cliffhanger such as this. Ow! Okay. I remember ending, I think we were in the middle of a voting stretch. Lots was being discussed. As far as a recap, the last stream was like 3 hours or so, wasn't it? Let's see. We had, so the not last stream, but the stream before, I think like old lady Ty was voted out. That made Moro upset. He then at some point, I think in the last stream, then what ended up happening was Moro came and confronted us. He was like, why is this going on? How can I trust you? And we basically, in this loop, we have Muro as, that's his name, yeah? Big guy. Mountainous man. He's on our side because basically we trust him, and we explained ourselves and explained why we voted for him and explained why we had to do the things that we did so far to get to this point in the rounds. So basically, he seemingly is on our side. Our main protagonist has been whittling down who potentially could be the wolves and the bad guys, and who has the powers via the spirits or whatever, guardians, whatever you want to call them. Basically, both the main character, but mostly us as the reader through our keys and all. And our snake power has figured out that Mochi and the reporting lady are two of the three wolves. And we're basically trying to just decide who is the last wolf, right? And so he's like narrowing down the different things of the possibilities and all. And I think then, like I said, they were trying to determine who to vote out and hang for this round. But I think the last thing we completely ended on was both... and the whole thing was that this whole time, our main protagonist thought Mako was through some kind of flawed logic, but some leaps in logic, and him being like, oh yeah, this was totally how this is going. He thought Mako was the spider with the ability to protect. But basically, I think the last thing we ended on was both Uematsu and then the old guy who cries wolf. Both claimed the spider role. They both said, hey, we're the spider. Don't get rid of us. And I think that's kind of what we ended on. I should also say, not only because we were doing something else prior to this reading, but this might not be a super long chunk of Raging Loop. We'll probably get to more Raging Loop later this week, but don't be surprised if we get just like an hour and a half or so. Let's load in. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is where we ended on. We'd always thought that the old wolf guy and Mako wouldn't take part in the feast. Boy, were we wrong. After all, their only contributions were their votes, and it was hard to tell what they based their votes on. They were just two swing votes who were otherwise harmless and best left ignored. It wasn't that simple, though. Unlike last time, when we had exceptions like me, everyone here was participating in the feast the way they were supposed to. That was why everyone could have a guardian of some sort, even if they were too childish or senile to make good use of it. I'd been actually afraid that they would get and waste their guardians. I didn't expect him to come out as a second spider, however. So yeah, if it matters, old guy said he was a spider after Uematsu said she was a spider. That was the order. Why him, of all people? And why a spider? Really? Spider! Uematsu? Oh man, we have conflict. I am the spider. The old man is lying. Am I gonna have to make a choice between old guy and Uematsu? As like a choice? You are a liar.
失礼だがご老人、ここまで地方老人かと判じていたが、状況は理解しておられるのかね?
Oh man, sorry about this, but I always assumed you'd be senile, nothing else. Do you understand the current situation? Huh?
おやっさん、以前の宴でも狼じじいはこんな感じだったのか?
Hey, was he like this in the previous feasts?
昔からこいつはこんなよ。宴の時も役立たずだよ。
Always been like this. Was useless in the feasts.
もっち、狼じじいと仲良かったろ？彼のことどう思う?
Mochi, you're friends with him, right? What do you think?
ごめん。僕にとって他人はみんなよくわかんないから。ちっちゃん、元気?
Sorry, but I don't really understand others. You okay, old man?
元気だって。
He's alright.
やれやれだ。
How troublesome.
おいじじい、初日と二日目、誰を守った?
Old fart, who'd you protect first and last night?
いいか、俺らは命がかかってる。もしてめえが分かってんのにふざけてるんだったら。
Listen, our lives are on the line here. If you're just messing around.
守ったのはあれじゃ。
I protect that. He ended the question by raising his finger and pointing at Yasunaga-kun.
僕?
Me.
1日目と2日目、どっちだよ?
On which day?
もしかして
On both? Oh my god. I'd be so frustrated if I was sitting in this. He responded with a smile.
それだと、1日目、狼はヤスを狙ったことになるが。
That would mean that the wolves went for Yasu first.
わからなくはないかしら。
I believe I can understand it.
じじい、なんで兄貴だったんだよ。
Hey, why him?
なんでもねえよ。
Nothing.
適当?
Just because?
おう。
Yeah. That definitely wasn't a good standard for deciding who to protect from death. What was this about, anyway? Wait, could it be?
無事な。
The badger.
どうした、フサイシ?
What's wrong, Fusaishi?
前に言いましたよね。ムジナがいるんじゃないかって話。
Remember when I told you that there might be a badger?
神内詣でと神内神社にムジナがいるからってやつですか?
Because there are badgers in prayer to Shinai in the shrine?
しかし、マイナーな伝承から狼におもねった人だとまで結論付けるのは無理がないかね。
But it's so minor. And don't you think it's a bit of a stretch to assume they would be humans who serve the wolves?
ええ。まあ、ムジナという役割があるかどうかはとりあえず別でいいです。
Well, in this situation, it doesn't really matter whether the badger exists or not.
はっきりしているのは、リカコさんと狼じじい氏の少なくとも片方が嘘をついているということですね。
All that we know is that either Rikako-san or the old wolf guy are lying. No arguments against that. Honestly, I thought they both were lying, but I more or less knew what Rikako-san was going for. She was probably ordering and controlling Mako, the real spider, effectively making her the one who protected people. That was why the info she gave about how she used the power was correct. In a way, she was the spider's representative. The advantage of this method was that even if she died, the real spider would survive. Of course, Mako wouldn't have someone helping her make decisions if Rikako-san died, limiting the Guardian's effectiveness. Yeah, okay. I just reread that in my mind just so I could... Yeah. But even so, if the spider... I'm gonna adjust the mic just slightly here. But even so, if the spider the wolves thought... Oh, that's a good sound. Oh, yeah. Creak, creak, creak. Okay, sorry about that. But even so, if the spider the wolves thought was dead was actually alive, it could turn the tides in the endgame. The spider was best kept hidden at all costs, but Rikako-san revealed it so it would draw the votes toward her. She used it for her own plan. I didn't know how accurate my assumption was, but it did seem like an effective course of action. Though, she probably didn't expect a sudden fake. It was day 3 and the fixed majority plan was becoming reality, yet no wolves came out as either snakes or crows. That is the other... I did a pretty bad recap. I apologize at the beginning here, my recap sucked. But basically, there was this talk of a fixed majority plan, where basically, like, if we can confirm at least a majority of people are reasons to be safe, so it's like the confirmed monkeys that had no fight against their roles, or, it was basically like, if we can confirm some people as not possible wolves, right? So it's like the people that I've researched as the snake and all that. Then what we can do is, even though it might not be the most effective in saving the most people, on average we will be able to win, because all we need to do is just pick off the people that aren't in the fixed majority. Because then eventually, just by a numbers game, we will win the game. By eliminating, when we eliminate someone, they might be human, they might be a wolf, but it's more likely that they're a wolf because all of us are humans, and then we'll slowly but surely, with some casualties, pick off the wolves. That's all the fixed majority plan basically is. Take the people that you can confirm are actually 100% not a wolf, and then pick out everyone else. Human or wolf, basically. So what is this? It was day 3 and the fixed majority plan was becoming reality, yet no wolves came out as either snakes or crows. Yeah, okay. We all knew the dangers of the wolves taking the snake's role, while taking the crow would help them hide the amount of wolves still alive, giving them a path to victory. However, there's next to no point in pretending to be the spider. Even if you claimed to be the spider and said you would protect someone, then even if no one died, you could still be suspected of being a wolf fixing the game. However, there was an exception. It was effective in helping the wolves know who the badger was. It was probably true that Kanzo-san was the target the first day, but was stopped by Mako, who was ordered by Rikako-san. That was why the wolves, who knew what they were aiming for that day, had recognized Rikako-san as the real deal. They also understood that the old wolf guy was lying. That meant that, from the wolves' perspective, he was a human who just told a lie. It was too obvious. The wolves knew about the badger. The wolves and their ally needed to be proactive about lying. The old wolf guy defied that rule, letting the wolves know what he was. With Hisako Mamiya's death, they had lost a vote, but with this, they now had 3 again. Also, Kanzo-san was considering his opponent, Rikako-san, as the next candidate for the hanging. In this situation, we had to make good use of the 6 confirmed humans and hang the lying spider. The easiest choice was to trust Kanzo-san's decision and vote for Rikako-san. By gathering wolf, badger, and confirmed human votes, Rikako-san would be sent to the tree. It was a chance for the wolves to kill the spider and make them think that the humans killed a wolf. This was really effective for them and extremely dangerous for us. Even if the real spider, Mako, survived, it would be really difficult for me to talk about the badger and explain that Rikako-san was a fake spider on their side. Yeah, I had to convince the human side that they should vote to hang the wolf guy instead. This is... I get what our guy is talking about, right? Because he's basically assuming the whole... He's basically so locked in his head about the Mako having the spider role, and that Rikako is helping her, guiding her, basically, being the proxy of the spider role, right? But if he's wrong in that, then it's bad, right? And, like, pure, like, logic, like, writing, like, storytelling, makes me think that See, there it's hard because meta-wise, I'm like thinking in my head like, oh, well, if he has it correct, then it leaves less to the mystery, right? So then I'm thinking, oh, he's got to be incorrect in his logic somewhere. And this would be an obvious place to be like incorrect, where he thinks he's so correct about thinking all this, and then like, oh shit, I miscalculated kind of thing. Does that make sense? It's a storytelling device, right? Like, yeah. Me as the reader would be like, oh, there's a good chance he's wrong somewhere because the story and the mystery has to keep going. If he has it all solved and he pulls it off, then that eliminates a potential path of continuing the story kind of thing. I don't know. He's betting a lot on his understanding of the role and like of Mako's role in all of this. He's betting a lot on the fact that he's correct in that. And that might be really dangerous. Because then you go down a path of putting all your eggs in that basket, so to speak, right? Yeah, I had to convince the human side that they should vote to hang the wolf guy instead. Was that really right, though? Don't ask me. I had to think carefully. I only came to understand Rikako-san's intentions because she told me to vote for her in a peculiar situation. I was assuming that yeah, he's also saying that because of the earlier thing where she was like, he's going like, oh, she wanted to protect Mako. Why would she want to protect Mako? Cause and effect, like line, arrow, arrow, arrow. Like basically, why would she say vote for me when she wants to protect Mako? Why would she want to protect Mako? Because she knows Mako has the important role. And that might not be it. It might be his different motive, right? I was assuming that both she and the wolf guy had some ulterior motives, but was that really right? Was the old guy even capable of that? He played with a pretty useless guardian. Maybe he'd only come out because he found it strange that another spider had named themselves. In fact, that was the most natural reaction, especially in the other's eyes. Same went for Rikako-san. From what I saw of her, she was more legend and harmony than intelligence. What if she was actually thinking that by protecting Mako, she'd be considered a good guy and avoid gathering votes? What if her affection for me was all part of the plan too? Crap. This is obviously the more reasonable line of thinking. Also, Rikako-san could have also been lying to let the wolves know something. Anyway, we had a relatively sane young woman going up against a completely senile man. No matter how you looked at it. Uematsu, you're lying. The choice was obvious.
違います。
No.
じゃあどうして今になって言った？てめえ一度何票か入った時に言ったな。自分をくくれって。
Why'd you say now then? You once told us to hang you if you had to. This was after some votes winning.
はい。申し上げました。
Yes, I did say that. I changed my fucking mind.
じゃあなぜ今くくられそうになって過去を言い出した？
Then why are you saying you have a guardian now that you're about to be hanged? She fell silent. I couldn't tell whether it was a silence to protect Mako or just an awkward silence because he pointed out a harsh truth.
決まったろう。
It's obvious.
お前らはどうだ？
What about you people?
私は安永の票に任せましょう。その方が皆さんにとっては信じやすいでしょう。
I'm leaving my vote to Yasunaga. That'll make it easier for you to believe me, won't it?
そうだな。それはいい。キヨ、お前は？
Yeah, that's fine. Kyo, you?
リカコさん、あなたは雲のカゴ車で本当に間違いないのですな。
Rikako-san, are you really the spider?
はい。野里様。間違いございません。
Yes. Nosato-sama, that much is certain.
なんかどっちも嘘くさいな。
Both are lying if you ask me.
てめえかもしだ。適当なこと言ってねえで。わからねえんなら黙ってやがれ。
Kamoshida, if you got nothing better to say, then shut up.
お姉ちゃん。
One-chan.
大丈夫。あなたのことは守るから。
I am really curious if this puts me in a position to make a choice, but I'm gonna hold my logic until it makes me do a choice, right? No, you know what? I'll lay it out right here. Okay, so I think if it does make me choose between voting for Old Man or voting for Uematsu here, I bet main protagonist canonically would want to vote against Old Man. I think we already know our guy kind of thinks with his penis a lot. It just is an unfortunate thing. And he would be like, oh, I have a lot more faith in her. Me and her work together a lot. I'm going to fucking vote for Old Man instead. If my brain was like Freaky Friday'd into the protagonist's body in this moment where I'm supposed to vote between the two, I would vote against Rikako because I would think it's more likely she has some ulterior motive to lying about being a snake. Now, what is that motive? I don't exactly know. But if I look across and I see Old Man go like, I'm Spider, I'd be like, okay, his brain cells rub together a bit and he's just like, what else? I mean, is he just taking the piss? Probably not. He probably is the Spider. So I would be like, okay, you're lying for some reason. But then you have to go like, is she lying for a good reason? Is it a good motive? Do you trust her enough that she would be, if not only if you're saying she's lying, is she lying for a good reason? She says, don't worry, I will protect you.
なんかおかしくない？公平じゃないよ。リカコさん、これまでずっと休みずのためにひどいこと言われても耐えてきたじゃん。
Isn't this weird? It's not fair. Akako-san went through a lot of bad-mouthing here in Yasumisu, but fought through it for our sake.
なんでおじいちゃんがいきなり言い出したことで全部ひっくり返るの？っていうかなんでいきなり言い出したの？
Why did it flip upside down just because of the old guy's words? Why did he even say it?
ちえみ
Jimmy.
おじいちゃんは誰かに言わされてるかもしれないし、
Well, we know where she
リカコさんだっ
lies.
て決心や考えが揺らいでるかもしれないじゃん。
Someone might have told him to say that, and it might be that Rikako-san's going through some inner struggle.
何が本当なんてわからないよ。なのに簡単に答え出して人を殺そうって感覚、本当危ないよ。
We don't know what's true. We can't just whip up an answer and simply kill someone like that. It's dangerous.
分かってる。ただな、結局ここまで来れば最終的にどっちを信じるかだ。
I know, but in the end, it's either you believe or you don't. Judging by what we know about the old guy, can we trust anything he says? Well, that's what I'm saying. He's such a blank slate as far as the game part goes, as far as like the actual like the game that's happening, the voting and everything, to the point where I'm like, oh, he's actually he wants to participate for once. That almost makes me want to believe a bit more, where I'm like, oh, he's actually like he doesn't have a past history of bullshitting about like roles or votes or anything. Sure, he's out of it because he's old and his brain is cooked seemingly, but like this is him being the first time, him having some kind of sense of him wanting to be like, oh yeah, I got a role, makes me want to be like, oh, you know what, maybe
不妻子どう思う？
maybe Fusaishi, what do you think? Oh, it's gonna make me choose here, isn't it? What was I to do? How was I to approach this? Okay, it is making me choose. Okay, now here's, I assume with most of our choices here where we have an A or B choice, there's a bad and a correct choice, and then one that's going to result in bad. So I'm going to, like I said before, I think canonically, I think our main protagonist here would want to vote for the old guy because he trusts Rikako more. Again, if I was put into it and I'm playing this game, I would probably, this is going to sound really weird, but follow where I'm going with this. I would probably vote against Rikako. Also, it's the more painful. Let's think about, like, in visual novels, the more painful choices usually are the ones that you have to make. You know what I mean? Visual novels love to pull at your heartstrings and make you make the tough choices. And old guy versus Rikako. Rikako is a much more important character, and we feel a lot more for her as a character. So, of course, in my head, I'm thinking meta-wise, the game wants me to feel bad once I vote for her. But now here's the part where I really need you to stick with me. We are always trying to go the bad route first. I want to see the bad route first. I want to see the bad choice. So, for that reason, because I think picking old guy is the wrong choice, I'm going to vote for the old guy first in the hopes that it is the bad choice, and then we'll go back and vote for Rikako because I think that that's the correct choice. Does that make sense? I'm voting for the one that I think is incorrect because I want it to be the bad choice, but I'm thinking it's the correct thing. So that's my logic here. I'm voting for old guy because I think it's the wrong choice. This would be a gamble. I had to remove the unpredictability and simply play the odds. I'd have to rely on common sense, or by the first impressions I had, or maybe I would just believe Rikako-san.
僕は
I
僕は狼じじい氏が嘘を言っていると思っています。
But let the record show that I think voting for Rikako to be hung is what we should have done. Put in that to video. I believe that the old wolf man is lying.
根拠は
Your proof is? It didn't have to be true as long as everyone was won over. No. The feast was a game where people hunted lies. I couldn't let my eloquence alone do the talking. I needed truth. Did I have to talk about Mako then? No. That would make me simply unforgivable. Then...
実のところどっちでもいいんですよ。ここでくくるのは。
It actually doesn't matter which one we hang. I would play the role presented to me. That was the only way for me to gain their trust.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
僕がもし今夜死ねば僕が間違いなく蛇だったということ。匠さんと野里さんが人だという証明になります。
If I die tonight, it'd be proof that I was a snake, and that Takumi-san and Nosato-san are humans.
今日一人くくってるのだから残り10人。人確定が5人。ただし香織さんのみ自己申告。
We're hanging someone today, so that'll leave 10 people, 5 of which would be confirmed humans. However, Kaori-san was just a self-proclaimed one. The face of pain.
しかし残り5人は香織さんに票を集めることはできないでしょ
Even so, the remaining 5 wouldn't be able to get enough votes on her.
う。な、吉嗣くん。
Right, Yoshisuga-kun?
ああ、おふくろには投票しね
Yeah, I'm not voting for Mom.
だから必ず5人組の方が投票で勝てる。多数派工作は成功する。
Then the 5 confirmed humans would win the votes. They would have the fixed majority.
まあ最終的に吉嗣くんが裏切らないという保証が必要ですが、結局これも信じるかどうかって話ですね。
Well, we still need insurance that Yoshisuga-kun won't betray us, but in the end, that too is just about whether you trust him or not.
え。俺は裏切らね
I ain't betraying anybody.
判断は皆さんに任せましょ
I'll leave the decision to the rest of you.
う。一方、僕が死ななかった場合、皆さんはもう少し不安な思いをすることになる。
On the other
僕
hand,
のことが信頼できないならば。
if I didn't die, those of you who couldn't trust me would be worried.
ただ、僕は今日生き残るなら、残る5人のうち最も怪しいと思う人間を過去で調べることができる。
But if I survive, I would use my guardian to look into the most shady person among the 5 unknowns.
狼が当たればそれをくくり、人が当たればそれを確定として扱い、残り4人から1人をくくる。
If it's a wolf, we hang them. And if it's a human, we add them to the confirmed list and hang one of the 4 unknowns.
その次の日に僕が死んでも確定者は5人、残りは3人。狼の残り人数は香織さんが調べられる。
Even if I die then, there'd be 5 confirmed humans and 3 unknowns, and Kaori-san could tell you how many wolves there were left.
最悪の最悪、残り3人くくっても最終的には人が勝ちます。安水側の誰かが生き残ります。
I like how he's laying out like basic logic and all, and the numbers and everything. It's just unfortunate that it's probably flying over the heads of like maybe half of these people. Some of these people are like just tuned out completely. Even if worst comes to worst and all 3 end up hanging, the humans will still win. Someone from Yasumisu would survive.
そこから先、どのタイミングで僕が死んでも確定者が増えるだけで人的には全然問題はない。勝ち確定。
Then, no matter when I died, it would only increase the number of confirmed humans with no drawbacks. Human victory would be certain. Maybe there's some people I'm not giving enough credit. Maybe some are paying attention, you know? Maybe some.
じゃあ僕が生き続けたらそれが最も気になるところでしょうが。
But what if I keep surviving? I understand why you'd be curious about that.
僕は最悪でもあさってまでに狼を全滅させることを誓います。
That's why I promised to exterminate the wolves by the day after tomorrow, at worst. That was an impactful line. I could see and hear them gasp. Felt good, but I didn't show it. Oh my god, our guy is so corny. He's like, oh yeah, aren't you impressed? Aren't I so cool?
失敗したなら
Oh my god.
僕をくくって結構。その結果僕が狼だったとしても残り一人の狼を探す時間はある。
If I fail, you can hang me right then. Even if I was a wolf, you would still have time to find the last one.
つまり現状はどうしたって人が有利な状況なのでどっちをくくってもさほど問題はありませんが。
So, as things are, humans have the advantage no matter what, so it doesn't matter which one of them you hang.
正気か地方かそれとも悪意を持っているのかすら判別のつかない老人はたとえ人でも残すべきじゃない。
However, I don't believe we should leave the old man. Personally, I can't even tell if he's sane, senile, or just malicious.
春明さん
Haruaki-san?
それにおそらくリカ子さんは早晩狼にやられてしまうことでしょう。本物の雲は脅威ですからね。
Also, it's likely that Rikako-san would soon be taken out by the wolves. True spider's a real threat after all.
はい、その覚悟です。
Indeed. I am prepared.
しばらくその方針で進めて、それでダメなら僕とリカ子さんをくくればいい。それが安心材料になるでしょう。
Let us continue with that, and if it doesn't work, you can hang both of us. That should give you peace of mind.
しかし言動に責任を持たない彼を残していればいつまでも不安要素を抱え込んでおくことになる。
But if you leave the old man, who doesn't take responsibility for his words and actions, there'll always be an element of uncertainty. One of these times I want the old man to just like spring into action and like stand up and like grab Haruaki here by like the collar and just like shake him. How dare you fucking say that about me? It just becomes all animated.
だから僕は彼をくくるべきだと提案します。最も確実な道を取るために。
That's why I believe he should be hanged. That'll make the path to victory clearer.
あと
Man, wouldn't you just... I mean, I'm all on... Even, like, earlier in the story where it's like, oh, we should hang the old man just because he's not really helping us. Because he's not really participating much. Like, that was the logic in, like, the first loop or whatever. I'd feel bad. I'd feel bad hanging an old, seemingly senile man. Like, I'd be like, oh, man, this... I'd have such a guilty conscience. I'd be like, oh, fuck. I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. Another thing.
僕は彼女が本物だと思っていますし、非常に些細なことですが、信じる要因もある。 説得力はないので言いませんが。
I think she's the real deal, and have a minor detail that makes me inclined to believe her. It's not very substantial though, so I'm keeping it to myself for now.
ただ匠さんの言うように僕は現時点で死ぬ気はさらさらありませんし、
But just as Takumi-san said, I don't plan to die yet.
リカ子さんが命を賭して守ってくれると当然のように期待していますから、この選択をするんです。
I'm expecting Rikako-san to put her life on the line to protect me, so this is my decision.
僕は実のところこういう卑劣な人間ですが、僕が蛇の加護を引いた以上、僕はこういう攻略法を行います。
I truly am this cowardly, but since I am the snake, I will go through with this strategy.
僕の将来の命を懸けるということが信頼も後ろ盾もない、ただ命が惜しい僕が唯一行える誠実さの証明です。
The fact that I'm putting my future life on line is proof of the only sincerity I, a person with no one who trusts or supports me, can give.
信じてください。以上です。
Please believe me. That is all. What a speech. I'm sure he wants people to clap for him after all that.
ヤス、キヨ、どうする？
Yasu, Kiyo, what do you think? Takumi-san instantly asked that.
信じます。僕は最初から不妻子さんがヘビじゃないかと思ってましたから。思った以上に非常な方でしたが。
I will believe him. I thought he was a snake right from the start, though he turned out to be a lot more heartless than I expected.
そうだな。私も信じよう。何よりもリカ子さんをくくることには承服しかねるのでね。
Yes, I will believe him as well. Above all else, I want to prevent Rikako-san's hanging.
香織さんはいいな。
Keibara-san?
はい、安永に委ねますから。
Yes, I'm entrusting my vote to Yasunaga. God, I need her. I'm so disappointed in her character so far. I don't even know if I could really 100% explain it. Why exactly I'm upset with her, but I just am. I just am. Just a non-participant. Thanks. Thanks, Mom.
おやっさん、
Old man. This was the moment of truth.
おやっさんは
You
信じられん。
not believe in him. I thought as much.
こいつが言った理屈にはきっと穴がいくらもある。穴にはまった時責任を取らす術はない。
There's gotta be holes all over his reasoning. Got no way to make him take responsibility for caught in him.
それよりわしは自分を信じる。耐えバーに票を入れた植松を殺す。
I'll believe myself instead and kill Imatsu, who voted for Taiba. The fixed majority will fail then.
おやっさん、
Oh man. But Takumi-san did something unexpected. Oh?
頼む。おやっさんの票を俺にくれ。
Please, give me your vote. He lowered his hands and forehead on the floor.
匠兄ちゃん、
Takumi Nii-chan.
さっき言ったように、俺はこいつの考えを信じてる。だが、人間性まで信じたわけじゃねえ。
Like I said, I believe the guy, but I don't trust his humanity.
こいつは善人じゃねえ。きっと敵に回したら難儀なやつだ。
He ain't a good guy and would probably give us loads of trouble if he was our enemy.
しかし、悪どい人間だからって狼になるわけじゃねえ。それとこれとは関係ねえ。
But being a bad guy doesn't mean you become a wolf. Those things aren't related.
俺はこいつの言葉の端々にこいつの本気を見出した。だから信じる。おやっさんには難しいとも分かってる。
Listening to his words made me realize that he was serious. That's why I'll believe him. I know it's a bit complicated for you. Now this is like cashing in on like social capital here, because the whole bit in like the last stream that we had of this, where he was like, we had to like trust and like tell him like, hey, here's why I did this, even though he was like coming at us aggressive and all that. This is him now paying back. We're like, all right, great. My trust in him is paying off.
だから俺を
He's
信
fighting
じて
for
く
me.
れ。安水で30年の付き合いの俺を。
But that's why I want you to trust me, as someone you've known for 30 years.
信じてくれるなら、
If you do,
もし不妻子が嘘つきだと分かったら、たとえ汚れを受けてでも、
oh,
不妻子と
pleasant.
植松をその日のうちに殺す。
I'll promise to kill both Fusaishi and Uematsu the moment we find out they're liars. Don't even care that the corruption will come for me.
そう、約束する。
That's my promise. He did the same as me, bet his life on his words.
頼む。
Please. He even gave his honor. He goes, I still don't care. I don't give a fuck.
匠このバカが
Takumi, you dumbass.
おやっさん、
Old man?
てめえは宴の片付けがあんだろうが
You gotta clean up when the feast's over.
わしにはもう何もねえ汚れはわしが黄泉に持っていく
I got nothing left. Take the corruption with me all the way to Yomi.
おう妻子
Hey, Fusaishi.
はい
Yes?
言うたからには覚悟せえ己にはタエバーの死の責任もある
You better prepare yourself. I still think you're guilty of Taiba's death.
それを蛇として取り返せんならわしが手ずから生皮剥いでくれる
If you can't make up for that as a snake, I'll skin you alive. I gulped. I was being glared at by an old hunter who was no stranger to death.
植松己もな
You too, Uematsu.
覚悟の上です。
I am prepared.
こっから票取れ
Tally the votes.
じじいてめえだ
Your turn, old fart. Shit! No one thinks I'm the snake! Or not snake, spider. No one thinks I'm the spider snake! Without an expression or a word, he pointed. At me.
じじいに
Old guy. 1 vote.
狼じじいに。
Old wolf guy. 2 votes.
おじいさんに
The old fellow. 3 votes.
安水のご老人に
Yasumisu's elder. 4 votes.
狼じじいに
Oh, this might be our first like unanimous, no split, situation going on here. But I think that's the purpose, right? Because I mean, not necessarily, but like the whole fixed majority thing was to try to make sure that they, whatever. 1 for the wolf man. 5 votes.
じっちゃん。
Old guy. I was almost sure Mochi was going to vote for someone else though, just to throw a hanky vote on someone. Old guy.
よしくんさ、じっちゃんに入れる？
Yoshi-kun, are you voting for him too?
ああ
Yeah.
入れるな
じゃあ、もう決まりなんだね。
Then it's settled.
そんなら僕も一緒でいいや。ごめんね、じっちゃん。
I'll do the same then. Sorry.
鴨志田様
Kamoshida-sama.
狼じじいに1票
One for the wolf guy.
春明さんに。
Oh, look at this. Yeah, look at all these votes. One for Haruaki-san.
知恵ねえその意思表示は
Jenny, that seems...
だってわかんないんだもん。私、リカ子さんには死んでほしくないけど。でも、
I mean, I just don't get it. I don't want Rikako-san to die either, but...
おじいちゃんが単にボケて雲だって言っちゃっただけってのもありそうなのに。
It's possible that the old man said that just because he's senile.
なのに、なんで誰も何も言わないの？なんで春明さんはそのことを言ってくれないの？
Why is no one pointing that out? Why isn't Haruaki-san saying that? Okay, so she's maybe just feeling guilty like I was talking about earlier, where it's like, I vote for the guy.
言っただろうどっちでも同じなんだよ
I said it doesn't matter, didn't I?
表が読めないのはメイコちゃんだって同じでし
You can't predict Meiko-chan's votes either, can you?
ょ？ね。
But...
疑わしさが同じなら女の子を殺すよりはお年寄りに犠牲になっていただく方が 合理的だと僕は思う。
If they're both suspicious, I'd prefer the old man to become a sacrifice instead of the little girl. It's the reasonable approach.
もういい。リカコさん。
That's enough. Rikako-san.
ご老人に。
For the old fellow.
おじいちゃんに。
The old man.
おじいさんに。
For the old man.
縄持ってこい。
Bring the rope.
時間が欲しい。
I need time.
黙れ。
Shut it. Kanzo-san suddenly punched the guy. Damn. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly how the first loop, didn't we vote old man, and then it was like, he was like, oh, didn't the old man convince the group to let him, like, go have, like, a couple moments to himself or whatever, and then Chikamochi followed him, and then they both ended up dying somehow, and then it was like, ah, shit. Was he attempting to do the same thing again? Was it like, oh, I'm gonna go do something? Kanzo-san suddenly punched the guy. Damn.
こいつはわしがくくってくる。てめえらはもう戻っとけ。
I'll hang him myself. Rest of you go back. He quickly tied up the wolf guy and pulled him off into the mist. His voice was strangely subdued, but I could feel intense emotion behind it. None of us knew what made him like that, so we all just sat paralyzed.
おやっさん、どうした？
Old man, what's gotten into you? The one to move first was Takumi-san.
牧島さん、
Makishima-san,
なんだっつんだ。
what's up with him? During the first time, yes, he said the same thing. I need time. He died like Mochi. You'll learn later. Well, obviously, I assumed I would learn at some point. It wasn't just going to be left completely, but yeah. By the time I went outside, Takumi-san was already disappearing into the mist.
匠さん、
Takumi-san!
不採士、てめえは来るな。よし、不採士を捕まえとけ。
All hell is breaking loose. Fusaishi, you stay there! Yoshi, hold him back!
おう。
Huh? Alright.
どういうことなんです？
Why?
わからんが、てめえは今一番大事なんだ。万一のことがあったらまずい。
I don't know, but you're the most important human right now. You gotta stay safe, just in case. Just in case. Oh, yeah. The last time... Oh, here we go. It's telling me, yeah. The last time when the wolf guy was gonna be lynched, it led to some unexplained murders.
匠さん、言っちゃダメだ。
If I'm gonna give credit to this game, you know, I keep saying it, but it has done a really good job of, like, in moments where I'm like, oh, didn't this happen in the, like, a while back or in the first loop or something, or over the course of, like, one in-game day. Like, it does a really good job, has done a really good job of, like, recapping things or referencing past moments, even just, like, and not into an obnoxious level, but just like to touchstone, like, yeah, this did happen last time. You're not making that up in your brain, especially for someone like me who only plays, like, a few hours here and there every once in a while. It, like, helps, like, and also on top of that, I've talked about how this does a good job of, like, going through the logic of, like, the voting game and everything. Like, it does walk you through, again, not to, I think, like, an annoying or obnoxious level or, like, a dumbed down, like, level. It does, like, I think, a really solid job at, like, doing those two things. Reminding me of things, even when I literally was just wondering, like, oh, didn't something just like this happen in the first loop? And then it's like, yep, you're on the right track. So either it reconfirms the thing that I was thinking, or if I was a reader who had forgotten that, then it just boosts that memory. It goes, hey, remember, this did happen before. And I got a small applause for it. I'll give the game its credit where it should get it. Takumi-san, don't go! I shouted that.
あなたは絶対に宴の勝利には欠かせないんだから。
You're necessary for us to win the feast. There was no response. Even his footsteps were vanishing into the mist.
何が起きると知っておる？
Oh, what do you believe will happen? I felt my heart jump. Oh no, question mark is speaking to us. I turned around and saw nothing besides Yoshisuga-kun, who was wearing a suspicious scowl.
なんだよ。とにかく行くぜ。
The hell?
匠兄と肝臓じじいに任せておけば何も起きねえ。
What was that? What? Let's just go. Leave the old fart to Takumi ni.
しかし
But
てめえが今一人で消えたらどう思われるか考えろよ。
think about how it'll look for you to disappear on your own. He had a point. They only trust me because Takumi-san was vouching for me.
そうだね。みんなで食堂に戻っていよう。
Alright, let's just go back to the dining hall. My worries were for nothing. In about half an hour, we were joined by both Takumi-san and Kanza-san. Their expressions were grim, but implied nothing specific.
狼じじいは
Where's the old man?
くくった。
Hanged. He sat down on the seat closest to the entrance. I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
匠に
I think something funky's going on. Takumi ni.
俺は結局見てない。まあ、おやっさんなら間違いねえだろ。
I didn't see it, but you know old man Kanzo. He ain't lying. I bet he's lying. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. With that, today's feast had ended. Everyone sighed quietly in relief. There must have been some of the wolves' depression in that. After all, from my perspective, we were just one step away from victory. However, the step would be the one that was very hard to take. How easy it would be if I died and it all ended then. However, it would once again be pointless. Until I solved why death hadn't come for me, I remained afraid of this unexplained phenomenon. Until I solved the mystery and escaped this loop, I would see many tragedies, fight against fear, and keep seeing many bad endings. A part of me hoped that winning the feast would end it, but if it didn't, I would have no clue where the core of this mystery was. That damn picture. That wolf picture getting so much mileage. Gotta love it. It feels like it's been a few streams since we've seen it. I was starting to miss it. Was this mystery even solvable? Could I cling to my own sanity until then? I remained uneasy. After a bit of rest, we had tons of things to do. Okay, so now we have to make a judgment call. It just did an autosave, so I assume we just got another chunk. Do I want to stick with this path, or should I go up here and see? I'm gonna, you know what? I think we're all smart. I think we can keep it in our head. Let's just see. We're gonna vote for Rikako and see what happens. Because maybe this is foolish of me to think, but I think, I mean, I'm only working on past knowledge, right? And what we've seen previously. If this was ending in a bad, oh, it's called poison. I don't know. Usually the bad ending comes quite quickly after picking it. I mean, we see it's what, 2 boxes in is usually what we see. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go and see Rikako. Whoopsie, I should have just backed out. All right, let's see what happens when we vote for Rikako. And then if we have 2 branches going at the same time, then we'll just figure out what we want to do. If this doesn't end in a pretty quick bad ending, then we'll balance both timelines and it's fine. We'll figure out something from there and we'll be A-okay. Everything will be all right. Voting for Rikako. Doubting others was essentially my creed. That's because I believed it was more logical to trust only myself and take responsibility for the outcome over bearing the risk of trusting others. When I came back to that rule, it was trusting Rikako-san as openly as I had so far that was the exception for me. It made more sense to doubt her. And so, I said it.
リカコさんの方が信じられるとは現時点では言えない。
I can't say I trust Rikako-san at this point in time.
票を取れ。
Take the vote!
待ってください。この2人のどちらが正しいかは今日のカゴを使って調べますから、今日は待ってください。
Please wait. I'll use my guardian to investigate which one of them is telling the truth today, so please wait for today.
じゃあ誰殺すんだよ。
We don't have time to wait.
俺か鴨志田かそれとも知恵ねえか。
And who are we supposed to kill, eh? Me? Kamoshida? Or Chieni?
殺す気かハッサン。
You trying to kill me, Hassan?
春秋さん。
Haruaki-san,
嘘でしょ。
you're kidding, right?
いいのです。春秋様。
It is alright, Haruaki-sama.
リカコさんいけない。
No, it isn't.
君何をリカコさんは一体何をやろうとしてるんだ。
Hey, what's going on? What's Rikako-san trying to do?
自己犠牲精神なんていらない。
We don't need any wannabe martyrs.
いいのです。皆様がおっしゃる通り、私は怪しいでしょう。
It is alright. Just as everyone says, I'm suspicious.
私は人ですが、私がくくられても、皆様は狼に勝つべきです。
I am a human, but if you hang me, you are sure to defeat the wolves.
私はこれ以上休みずにいても皆様に尽くせないならば。
She's so slow to speak. If I can no longer serve the people of Yasumisu, then
退場することで最後の休みずへのご奉公と
my
いたします。
I keep cutting her off. My departure from the stage shall be my final service to Yasumisu.
リカコさん。
Rikako-san.
不妻子
Oh, Befosaishi! Takumi-san shouted louder than ever before, shutting me up.
お前がその女を助けたかったなら、その女を信じなきゃダメだった。
If you wanted to help that woman, you should have trusted her.
お前がそうできなかった時点で、その女が助かることはなくなった。
Her fate was sealed the moment you failed to do that.
そんな。
No.
お前がそう言わないってことは、その女が生きてることが人の勝利に必ずしも必要ないってことだ。
By not saying that, you implied her survival wasn't necessary for the humans to achieve victory.
少なくともお前はそう確信していない。
At least, you didn't believe it was.
それを否定できなかった時点で、お前の選択は済んじまってるんだよ。
The moment you couldn't deny that was the moment you made your choice was made.
あとは男らしく決着しろ。
So settle this like a man. Damn it. I'd never been more resentful of my adherence to my rules than I was now.
僕は
I
上松リカコさんをくくることを提案する。
propose we hang Rikako and Matsu-san. He really yelled at me and was like, vote to hang Rikako like a man. I don't wanna.
はい。
Oh, face. Very well. Rikako-san smiled. Why couldn't I just trust her? Why couldn't I?
縄はいりません。
Oh, this is just gonna be sad, isn't it? No rope shall be necessary.
植松として藤吉の意味と汚れの森人として恥じるところない最後を自らなしてご覧に入れます。
As an Uematsu, and the watchman of Fujiyoshi's purification and corruption, I shall bring about my own end, with no shame to display. She said it. Rikako-san led her own funeral procession. With a sonorous voice, she sung prayer Shinai. She bowed to the Okiba along the way as she recited prayers and sutras. No one rebuked her, for they all understood her actions were the manifestation of her faith, for she was right. And then, we reached the cliff at the hanging pine overlooking the misty Saranaga. Rikako-san turned away from us, faced the cliff, and chanted sutras. Oh, I'll let it go out. Oh, was that it? I'm not gonna chant it necessarily. We lay ourselves down before he who dwells in the mountain. By boon of his protection are the corrupt returned to ash. The sealing of the gate to Yomi brings prosperity again. Thus I offer homage to Shinai, the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Her words were directed at no one. They merely faded into the mist. She clapped her hands, held them over her head, and bowed. It was similar to Yasumitsu bow, but felt more right than that. Rikako-san looked back.
Sayonara.
Farewell. And spoke only those words. Onei-chan! She paid no heed to the only voice that called out to her. Her black sleeves fluttered, and she threw herself into the mist. Oh. After several seconds, we heard a crunching noise from down below. Don't listen! Chami covered Mako's ears. The little girl started to cry. You.
お前があんなことを言うから。
This is all your fault. If you hadn't said that.
いや、違う。
Yeah, I don't necessarily...
それもこれも。
I don't know why they're all like, it's your fucking fault.
なぜ
Don't put that all on me.
こんなことに。
No, that's wrong. This is all... What? Why? How did we... Let this happen? He left while muttering to himself.
野里さん
Nosato-san.
ほっといてやれ。あいつもあれで男だ。女が死ねば思うところもあるさ。
Leave him be. He's still a man. A woman's death hurts.
みんな帰るぞ。
Let's go back. We returned to the dining hall, but all of us were caught up in depression. There was barely anyone who wasn't feeling the loss of Tai-san, Haru-chan, and Rikako-san in any way. Oh, I live to see another day! Excluding the old man. He was just happy to be there. We didn't know if we could expect all that much from him as a spider. Meiko had cried herself to sleep and had been left in her place, while Kinosuke had returned to his mansion. Takumi-san and Kanza-san were busy cleaning up Haru-chan. Aside from them, everyone else was here.
元気が出るものを作らなきゃね。
I'll make something to cheer us all up. Kaori-san said that with forced enthusiasm. Since her sons were still alive, she was probably in a relatively better mood than the rest of us. Incidentally, I'd stopped helping with the cleanups in the kitchen. They said it was because they couldn't put the snake at risk out in the mist, but they were also probably being cautious of me. So I just sat by myself. Chami was talking to the boys, showing her own consideration for them to lift her spirits. It seemed she had no intention of talking to the old wolf guy.
春明様、お話をその
Haruaki-sama, may we talk? Actually, I want to check something. Just out of curiosity. And I know this might not be 100% science, but let me see something. Okay, I don't know why I'm only just now recognizing this. But when we have multiple choices and one ends in like an incorrect choice, and then like correct choices to continue the story, the correct one has always been on this leftmost path that's always like the straight line through, hasn't it? I mean, obviously there's the weird ones where there's like a key thing that's gonna bring us to like a different branch. But unless they would decide to buck that trend, which doesn't seem to be the case, it's actually funny that I'm only just now seeing that. So I probably... Oh shit, and I didn't even pay attention. Spoiler alert, we're about to get the death is about to happen. The bad choice, X is staring us in the face. Spoiler alert, the woman who always wanted to talk was gone. It's gonna happen, it's about to happen. It's a ticking time bomb. Before long, Kaori-san had finished making the food. It's very funny that this game, if you check the timeline thing, like, if you're wanting to stay completely not spoiled, potentially, if you actually accidentally went into that timeline view, it's going to show you the X before you actually see the bad. happen. That's my bad. I shouldn't have done that. Before long, Kaori-san had finished making the food. Takumi-san and Kanzo-san returned from the cleanup, and we finally had our first meal of the day.
今日は気疲れしたでしょ。たっぷり食べてね、久石さん。
I'm such a bad pilot. I apologize. I imagine you are tired. Please eat as much as you want.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. The fact that I checked my bowl for something green made me realize how ill-natured I really was. Unfortunately, that was just how I was, so I'd at least keep up my mask and effectively give them conscious of my own kind. I sat down, put my hands together, picked up the chopsticks, and ate the rice gruel. Like always, it was simple, beastly, yet still good. I only felt that something was wrong with it a bit later. Uh-oh, my tummy hurt. At first, I just thought that I burned my mouth or something. But suddenly, I couldn't feel my mouth at all, and after an unnatural sensation that overwhelmed my tongue and cheeks, I lost my sense of direction. Uh-oh. My body, the controller rumbled. My body twisted, and right as a dull pain went through my head, I fell to the floor. I'd been poisoned. I could understand that clearly, but all my processing power went into dealing with the unnatural feeling attacking my body. I couldn't see properly, couldn't breathe or speak. Despite that, I still had a burning pain in my mouth and an urge to vomit, along with unbearable agony. I couldn't understand what was happening around me. It was probably pure chaos, but I was struggling to even breathe, and it was only getting worse. A sudden, intense impact hit my back. My body jumped, and then I puked. Fusaishi! My breathing stabilized for a moment. I could hear a voice, as well as see something. A wet floor in my own hands. However, the nausea didn't end. The spasms made me feel like my chest was turning inside out, and I soon puked again. Ew. I was beyond help. Oh, I see the light. I would die in just a few minutes. Once I understood and accepted that, I found myself able to think a little clearer. This was a gamble the wolves had taken. They'd killed outside the feast. They were prepared to face the corruption. They'd poisoned the food. By doing so, they could get rid of me or someone else. It wasn't me. And they could frame the crime on Kaori-san, the chef. They could also destroy the fixed majority comprising of Takumi-san, Kanzo-san, Kinosuke-shi, Kaori-san, and I. By sacrificing one of the remaining wolves, they'd gain a big reward. I see. So the wolves were that serious. I'd been given a lethal dose of poison. There wasn't any hope for me at all, was there? How would I get past this? Hey, Kako-san, this is a horrible thing to ask, but you wouldn't happen to know, would you? Just before my consciousness faded into the mist, I saw a hallucination of Kako-san looking down on me with a sad smile. You really fucked up, Fusaishi. Her spirit said. Bad ending number 18. No, I'm not watching the hand corner. Get out of here, sheep thing. That's very funny. Death by wolf poison. I'm such a threat that they were like, we gotta take this guy out before we can't allow another protection to happen. This guy is too good. His game too strong. We must take him out now. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, this little part is called poison, so funny there. Funny stuff there. Okay, back onto the not dead path here. After a bit of rest, so again, I know it's only been a few minutes, but this is where we hang the old man. Or allegedly hang the old man. Kanzo says he would go hang him, and then they just disappeared. And just like any good story, unless you see it happen, assume it possibly couldn't have happened. Or didn't happen. Assume that that's a possibility, I guess just to say. After a bit of rest, we had tons of things to do. The top priority was cleaning up Mamiya-san and Haru-chan's remains. I wanted to help, but they stopped me, since something might happen in the mist. I couldn't help with the food either, probably because they were wary of me too. I couldn't blame them, considering what I said. In a way, they were now more distant with me than last time, when I was just a pure outsider. I continued watching the people carefully do what they had to, making sure there were no blind spots under Takumi's guidance. I wanted to win. I'd gotten this far, so I wanted to defeat the wolves. Though, that was actually just a part of my desire to survive and expose the things I had no choice but to keep quiet about. I said all that horrible stuff in order to protect Mako. I just wanted to finally find peace from the stuff that bothered me. That felt like escapism, though. It seemed like proof that my mental state was weakened, and I didn't like it.
ちなみに不妻子君、最悪でも明後日ということなら、早ければ明日には勝負がつくということで良いのかね。
By the way, Fusaishi-kun, you said we would win at worst. The day after tomorrow. Do you think it's possible to win tomorrow then? I mean, the interesting thing is, and the thing that was, again, I don't think I brought this up during the recap that I did at the top of this part of the stream. So it's on me, but it was a small detail that I just didn't 100% recall. But I think it was in the last stream where it was confirmed that Konzo explicitly said, me and the old guy participated in a feast together before. And that was the first time. It was the topic of people potentially doing feasts in this village, in the settlement, prior to this happening was brought up. But it wasn't, they hadn't like previously confirmed anyone. And then it was, unless I'm mistaken, I think Konzo was like, hey, I don't know why it came out actually. But at some point in their discussion, Konzo was like, yes, there was a prior feast. Me and the old guy who cries wolf were a participant. So they had participated, if we were to believe him, which I don't see why we wouldn't. They participated in a feast and made it through. Which is an interesting tidbit. By the way, I already read this. Do you think it's possible to win tomorrow then? As everyone worked and I had nothing to do, Keinosuke Shi, who wasn't too involved in the work, whispered that to me.
そうですね。
Yes, I do. I didn't know if everyone else believed me, but I did feel like I was close to the conclusion.
それは教えてもらうわけにはいかんのかね。
You cannot tell me why, I assume?
そうですね。今はまだ。
No, not yet. I couldn't let anyone find out that Mako was a spider. In fact, if I tried to survive after someone found out that she was, and that I prioritized my own survival over hers, I'd be the target of everyone's scorn. That was how complicated my current position was.
まあ、やむを得んだろうな。それはともかく。
Well, suppose it cannot be helped. That aside...
君はなんだ、植松里香子さんと親密な関係になったのかね。
You, seem to be getting close to Rikako Uematsu-san. Yeah, what about it? Nosato? What about it? You're gonna try to cockblock me or something? What about it? You feeling territorial or something? She's into me, apparently, for some reason. It was Chiemi in the last loop, and now I got the thing for... Rikako's got the thing for me in this loop. I can't help it. Can't help the fact that they're just drawn to my stupidity or something. Well, I knew he'd be curious about that. Incidentally, Rikako-san had insisted on going with Takumi-san and the others to mourn the ones lost.
無事に霧が晴れたら、そういうのもいいかもしれない。という話はしました。
We decided that it wouldn't be bad to get together if we both survived the mists. What a weird way of saying this. I don't know. This game... Earlier I was talking about, like, give the game credit where it's due. I don't want to give it credit, and I'm giving it anti-credit, where maybe it's gonna all come as, like, an important part of the story. Maybe there's really good intention and really good reason that they're propped up and pointed out like this. But this guy and his, like, half situationships with, like, the two women so far in this story are presented so weirdly and talked about so weirdly and then touched so slightly, ever so slightly. It's just, I don't know. There's something weird. And, like, here's my thing. My mind is like, what is the point? Because there feels like, I feel like this is, like, conspiracy part of my brain, but, like, the fact that he just ended, and maybe I'm just way overthinking this, but the fact that like the game made a special point at the very beginning to talk about how this whole started when he was driving his motorbike or whatever, like right after a breakup or something with someone he was in a relationship with. Like, there just feels like there's some reason that was brought up. Like, that it feels weird if that was a fact and it was a part of the story, but it wasn't like, didn't tie back to something at some point. Like, it seemed more than just an inciting incident, but maybe it's not. But like, there's something in my head that's like, okay, him and some relationship ending, and then this whole thing kicking off and starting, and then him now 2 loops in one loop he was really into Chiemi, and that was his partner through like helping him through the game, and then in this one it was Rikako, and they have their moments. Like, there just feels like there's something's happening, and I could be so wrong, but it's just like, why is this happening, and why is it like this? Why do I feel weird about this? I don't know. There's something there. There's something there. We decided that it wouldn't be bad to get together if we both survived the mists.
そうか
I see. What was I supposed to say here?
野里さんが植松里香子さんを大事にされているのは長者としての共感にはとどまらないのですか？
Rikako Matsu-san is important to you as more than just a fellow village head. Question mark? I said that. I didn't say that in a question. Rikako Matsu-san is important to you as more than just a fellow village head? Question mark?
だとすればまだ何かが決まったわけじゃないので野里さんも彼女に思いをお伝えになっては？
Like, this game talks about relationships so weird. Like, here are these 2 guys who clearly have some kind of, like, interest in Rikako, to some extent. Whether it's, like, I mean, I believe Nosato here is way more interested, and we have much more evidence of him, like, defending her and, like, building her up. And then I'm like a tourist when it comes to, like, into these people in this village. Like, I'm just like, I'm looking for a rebound wherever I can find one, basically. And this guy, and Haragi, okay, so he says, just so you know, it's not all set in stone. Why not tell her how you feel? Like, I just got weirdly, my protag just got done telling him, like, yeah, we had a discussion and we were like, we're totally boning if we get out of the mist. Like, we're an item if we make it out. Like, why would I tell him that? Why would I say that to his face? It's so strange. This guy, Haruaki, just does not care. Like, he's so weird. Personality-wise, he's just so bizarre. And it doesn't make me like him that much. And maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm not supposed to like him. But, like, in what is he doing? I don't know. I'm so hung up on it for some reason. It's so bizarre. Oh, that wouldn't do. I'm just clinging to the past.
ああ、もしかして過去に付き合っておられたとか？
Oh, is she your ex or something?
恐れ多いこと。雲の家とはいえご当主様だ。次男坊と釣り合うものじゃないのだよ。
Hardly. Though it's just a spider's family, she's still ahead. A second son like myself is a poor match for her.
それを言えば、流れ者である僕なんて釣り合う目はないという話になりますが。
And I'm a nobody. Going by that logic, we're worlds apart.
その通りだよ。と言いたいところだが、当人同士の気持ちが大事な時代だろう。少なくともこの村の外は全部。
I would like to say that's true, but this is a time when the feelings of both parties are important, at least outside this village.
私も外の暮らしが長かったからわかる。彼女を高みに支えている器用方変のすべては時代遅れの束縛でしかない。
I like the chopping of food ASMR happening in the background. I spent a long time outside, so I understand that all this praise and censure binding her are just relics of an age long gone.
だからそんな束縛のない男が彼女を外の世界で幸せにするならば、それもありなのかもしれん。
That's why I believe that a man who doesn't have such bindings might be able to make her happy.
この霧の中でずっと考えているうちにそんな風にも思えるようになったのだよ。
After the mist came, I eventually came to think that way.
僕からは何とも言い難いです。最終的に何をどうするのか選ぶのは彼女次第だと思っていますし。
I'm not sure what to say here. Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to say either. I still think that she's the one who'll have to make the final call.
そのあたりは君と彼女の間のことだろう。私が口出しをするのは無粋。その程度は私にもわかるのだよ。
That is something. Oh, that is something just between you two. I know full well that I have no say in the matter, but
彼女がネアのはしためとして背負ってきたものはきっと君にはひどくキーに思えるだろうし重くのしかかるだろう。
what she bears as a bedroom woman servant would be quite a strange and heavy burden for you.
と言いますと？
What do you mean?
それは私の口から言えることでもない。まあもし何か困ったことがあれば相談には乗るがね。
It's not really my place to say, though I am willing to consult you about most other matters.
それはぜひ。
I'll appreciate it. He then gave me a business card. No, don't give me your business card. I'm not calling that. Kiyonosuke Nasato, MD, graduated from University Doctor. Wow, so it really was an elite. It wasn't for a specific job. It was just his personal info. Was he looking for a new job? It had his email and phone number on it, and it felt like a relic. Looking at it prompted a bit of nostalgia, even. The bedroom woman servant's role, huh? Was he being considerate, or was it some sort of warning? It didn't seem like I could ask any further, especially with all the people here, so I would just take it as goodwill and move on. I didn't think much of this, but I had absolutely no idea that I would catch a glimpse of a new kind of darkness from the Uematsu family, Fujiyoshi as a whole. The cleanup was over, and everyone returned to eat.
今日は気疲れしたでしょ。たっぷり食べてね、房石さん。
I imagine you are tired. Please, eat as much as you want.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Kara-san was a good person. I didn't know everything about her, but she treated everyone with respect, keeping her relationships proper and bright. Jump scare. I knew for sure that her personality was supported by her sons. She arrived at Fujiyoshi, had to deal with their strange customs, lost her husband, and was sent here to Yasumizu, where she lived for over a decade. Her mind was actually very frail at this point, and without her sons to support her, she would easily break. However, even if it came from a strained mind and heart, goodwill was goodwill, and conscience was conscience. Not to mention that she didn't do anything bad yet. The fact that I checked my bowl for something green despite that made me realize how ill-natured I really was. Oh, deja vu. Unfortunately, that was just how I was, so I would at least keep up my mask and effectively give them conscience of my own kind. I sat down, put my hands together, picked up the chopsticks, and ate the rice gruel. Like always, it was simple, beastly, yet still good. I only felt that something was wrong with it a bit later. Uh-oh. At first, I just thought that I burned my mouth or something. Uh-oh. But suddenly, I couldn't feel my mouth at all, and after an unnatural sensation that overwhelmed my tongue and cheeks, I lost my sense of direction. My body twisted, and right as a dull pain went through my head, I fell to the floor. Uh-oh. I'd been poisoned. I could understand that clearly, but all my process power went into dealing with the unnatural feeling attacking my body. Couldn't see properly. Couldn't breathe or speak. Despite that, I still had a burning pain in my mouth and an urge to vomit, along with unbearable agony. I couldn't understand what was happening around me. It was probably pure chaos, but I was struggling to even breathe. And it was only getting worse. A sudden, intense impact hit my back. My body jumped, and then I puked. Fusashi! Fusashi! My breathing stabilized for a moment, and I could hear a voice, as well as see something. A wet floor in my own hands. However, nausea didn't end. The spasms made me feel like my chest was turning inside out, and I soon pooked. I pooked again.
Kyo! Nanda korea!
Kyo, what is this?
そんな口にしてすぐだとこの辺りのものならば渦しか
What? Right after he ate it. The only thing here that potent is wolfsbane.
他に食べた人は
Anyone else eat it?
私も食べたよ。というかみんな大体食べてるじゃん。
I did. Most of us did, actually.
オリベのてめえ
Oribe, you.
違います。
It wasn't me.
とにかく吐かせねば。ホース、ゴムホースはあるかね。
Gotta make him puke it out. Do you have a rubber hose?
ホース
Hose?
胃洗浄だ。ろくにやったことはないが、やるしかあるま
Oh
い。
god.
すぐに蛇口につなぐんだ。早く。
To clean out his stomach. I've never done it myself, but I have no choice. Connect it to the tap. Hurry! I couldn't understand what they were talking about. My burning throat was a clear message that this was lethal.
春明さんしっかりして。心臓マッサージとかしないと。
Haruaki-san, hang in there. We gotta give him CPR or something.
必要だが水場に運んでからだ。道を開けろ。誰か湯を沸かせ。
We do, but only after we clean out his stomach. Clear the path. Boil some water. Someone was treating me somehow. I could tell that much, but I also knew it was too late. I was strangely calm about it too. So this was the end, huh? Like I figured, making it to the end as the snake was pretty difficult. What about next time then? What was I supposed to do to move forward? Ugh, shit. I wanted to bring as many memories as possible the next time around. Oh man. I wanted to hear what they were saying, memorize it, and analyze it properly on the next loop. That was unlikely though. All my memories of my final moments so far were pretty vague. I was fated to never die, yet to die many times. It was a really interesting thing to think about, but not even those who returned seemed to be given the key to the mysteries of the final moments.
くそ、ダメだ。もう心音が。
Shit. No. His heart is...
ダメ。
Haru... No. Even the pain was becoming dull. My mind was on the verge of fading.
ここから出てください。
Everyone, please leave.
リカ。聞かねえ。
Huh? Rika... It's...
彼の病毒は
No shit.
私が引き取る。
I will take in his poison. How? How are you gonna do this? She's gonna cast a white mage spell on me? or something else? Everyone suddenly fell silent, and I thought this was because my senses were fading. However, it was actually the opposite. My senses were absurdly clear considering the situation. This could have been a pre-death lull, or perhaps some sort of delusion. I would have preferred to die while paralyzed, though. Clearly feeling the pain of death wasn't exactly a good time. That was a weird statement to make, but the absurdity was lost on me. Suddenly, I felt the light past my eyelids grow weaker. Once it was almost completely dark, I realized it was because the windows were closed. I slowly opened my eyes. I couldn't see clearly, but only because of the dim lighting in the shut dining hall. I moved my head, but it felt really heavy. My heart had almost stopped pumping blood. My pulse was dull and weak. I was certain I would die soon. But then, I felt Rikako-san approach me. Her expression wasn't clear to me, but her breathing was strangely loud. She was panting, but trying to endure it. I thought that because of the slight quivering in each of her breaths. After wiping her mouth, she brought her body close to mine. Oh, hell yeah. Hey, Nasato, get a load of this. Huh? Get a load of this, huh? How jealous are you, Nasato? Looks like she made a choice. I'm joking. Alright, no. She actually straddled me. Oh my god, how crazy. Though she was in a position where she could look down on me, she looked at me with upturned eyes. What is this music? That, in addition to her bashful expression, made it clear that she was about to do something sinful. What the fuck are we doing? This guy can't even get rescued from poisoning, like, without being weird about it. Like, this guy... She stopped hiding the... I don't even know. She stopped hiding the intensity of her breathing. Her small I don't want to read this. Her small I'm struggling. This I just gotta chill. Everyone, calm the fuck down, alright? Including myself. Oh man, alright. Here we go. Her small tongue, wet with saliva, was peeking through her mouth. And it was extremely lustful. I could feel her warmth on my abdomen. With her every breath, I felt the hardness of her pelvis despite all the cloth between us. It's not even... Oh my god. Even though I was dying, or maybe because of it, the feeling of the opposite sex saw me awaken the instinct. The man within me? Come on, game. Come on with this. No! Pour one out for Nasato, though. I love you. Her voice felt like it didn't belong to her. A refined, traditional woman. A woman that appeared younger than she was. A clumsy woman with some unfortunate tendencies. A mysterious woman. None of that was there. She was now lustful. Bewitching. Overpowering. The enchanting, mature lady squirmed as if suffocating in her familiar black clothing. As I noticed that, she reached for the edge of my shirt, lifted it up, and went in with her fingers with practiced motions. We just gotta get through this. They were cold. I could feel them on my skin, passing my belly button, making me moan lightly. I always talk about, like, God, it must suck to have to listen to my voice sucks. Like, it is what it is. But to read a moment like this is like double pain. I mean, let's just say I should never be narrating like a hot and heavy moment like this, or like a romance novel. I'd be the last person called to read like an audiobook of that. She then reached her other hand in and moved them both without restraint. As her arms went deep inside, her palms caressed my torso and her fingers lustfully. The story loves the word lustful, searched for any sensitive spots. I'm pretty sure this is how they teach you to remove poison. This is what they do. You get like bitten by a poisonous snake and they're like, yes, you must straddle the person and have fake sex with them. Depoisoning 101. Despite my confusion, it made me moan over and over. She was toying with my near-mortal clarity, which was both confusing and a bit uncomfortable. I hope he wakes up and this was like a dream, like a poison-induced dream he was having. Please save me from this. However, I didn't resist. Because my limbs are weak from the poison? No, that would just be making excuses. I enjoyed that she was having her way with me. It was exciting, numbing, and paralyzing. However, when she reached for my belt and tried to undo it... Why? Everyone's watching us! I somehow found the power to put out my right hand and try to push her aside. What the fuck? It was a feeble gesture, but enough to get the message across.
So?
I see. Her whisper told me that she understood me, but was somewhat indifferent about it.
仕方ない.
Very well. She moved and backed away to the side. As her warmth faded, the coldness from the impending death came back.
少し痛いけど.
This might hurt a bit, but she then smiled and took something out of her sleeve.
楽になって.
Relax. An ice pick? It seemed like a Japanese-made owl. Upon seeing it, I couldn't understand anything anymore. Was she going to make love to me? No, that was previously. Now she's off. Torture me? Kill me? I couldn't understand, but it appeared that my resistance from a moment ago left me completely powerless and unwilling to do anything. As my vision grew dim, so did my senses. But then I felt a pain in my left shoulder. Had she pierced me with the awl? That was the last thing I thought and felt before losing consciousness. Oh, we're gonna end it there. We got the autosave. Right when my eyes opened and I sat up. I assume whatever just she did to me unpoisoned me, cured me. Jesus, this game. Okay. This game constantly finds ways to baffle me. And I'm not even saying in a complete negative sense. I'm just saying constantly, for many reasons, this game and the story baffles me. It's like not the wildest ride ever, but it's just enough where I'm like, are we fine? Are we okay? Am I gonna make it through this? Am I gonna make it through this game? Good shit. I think I already saved, but double save. We'll end it there. We'll end it on what are we on? What was it called? Survive. Great. Poison. Survive. When can we expect next Raging Loop stream? It's tough. Here on this channel, I don't try to commit too much because things are very fluid and change. It's probably not going to be tomorrow, and then I don't stream on Thursdays. So it would most likely be probably Friday night. We are probably going to be back here in Raging Loop on Friday night. I would say with 75 to 80% certainty, we'll do more Raging Loop on Friday night. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back in Ender Lilies. I want to play more of that as we've been kind of plugging away in that. And then, like I said, Thursday I don't stream. So, yeah. Unless, obviously, something pops up or something happens, which is always a possibility, I guess. But Friday night probably is going to be the next Raging Loop reading session. And that gives me a few days to get the ick out of my body from that moment we just read, honestly. But we'll end here. Have a great Tuesday, rest of the Tuesday night, whatever's left of it. And then, like I said, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with Ender Lilies, most likely. I've been having fun with that. It's been a decently solid game so far. I'm gonna head out. Got a couple things I need to do before I end up passing out for the night. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for reading along. Thanks for bearing with the story with me. Being a willing or unwilling participant in the strangeness that is Raging Loop. And yeah, until tomorrow night, take it easy. Have a nice rest of your night. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.